Hey, what's up? Wes here. Thanks a lot for tuning in. So, I recently played through Castlevania 64 after not touching it for 18 years, basically because I completely despised it. And it was actually the subject of my latest episode of I haven't played this game in years. In fact, it seems like I just reviewed it yesterday. Yesterday. The camera will even turn on you in mid-jump. Come on! Give me a fucking break! Oh, good lord! Let's be honest here. A game that's challenging because of broken cameras and terrible jumping mechanics is not a good game. These faults stick out horribly like a gangrenous thumb, and arguably ruins the entire experience. Anyway, Castlevania 64 back in the day is the reason why I completely avoided Legacy of Darkness like it were church. And I actually enjoyed Castlevania 64 a lot more this time around, so it encouraged me to pick up Legacy of Darkness, and I got a hell of a deal on it too. So, is it as good as Castlevania 64? Is it better? Is it worse? How does it hold up? Let's take a look. Castlevania Legacy of Darkness was released in North America on November 30th, 1999, only 10 short months after the original Castlevania was for the Nintendo 64. Legacy of Darkness resembles more of what the developers at Konami had originally envisioned with Castlevania 64, including a campaign starring a man-wolf named Cornell, which was scrapped from the initial game to avoid release delays. Cornell arrives at his hometown only to find it engulfed in flames and his adoptive sister Ada kidnapped in order to be used as a sacrifice to resurrect Dracula. Cornell retrieves her pendant and, using his wolf abilities, tracks Ada by her scent. Cornell's adventure takes place 8 years before Reinhard Schneider and Carrie Fernandez's and serves as a prequel to Castlevania 64. The quest begins with Cornell embarking on a haunted ship en route to Wallachia, where we reach familiar ground in a remade setting of Castlevania 64's first stage. Legacy of Darkness utilizes Nintendo's expansion pack, culminating in crisper and sharper visuals, while at the same time, unfortunately, compromising the game's frame rate, resulting in some choppy gameplay. This bothered the hell out of me initially, but the game does allow you to select high or low resolution each time you turn the system on. Playing in low resolution fixes the frame rate issue, but unfortunately, the fog which plagued Castlevania 64 is abundantly present here as well, and I decided that the choppy frame rate was the lesser of two evils. Here's a side-by-side comparison. What do you think? The forest is aesthetically comparable to its Castlevania 64 counterpart, but that's where the similarities end. The layouts are completely different, making it much easier to navigate this time around. The enemies consist of the same skeletons, with additional baddies present, such as fishmen, and the boss is the same from Castlevania 64, with slightly different attacks. The next stage is a return to the castle wall where you can, oh my god, adjust the camera! Hallelujah! It's amazing how much a difference a somewhat efficiently functioning camera can make in a game. The camera is such a huge improvement over its predecessor that the difference is night and day. If you hated the camera in Castlevania 64 like I did, then you'll be absolutely ecstatic to know that it's been fixed here. While not perfect by any means, compared to how broken it was before, I can't really complain. Many of the stages in Castlevania 64 return in this one, and while some of those have been completely overhauled, including the Duel Tower, thank God, some remain exactly the same, such as the Villa. Since the game takes place 8 years prior to that of its predecessor, Legacy of Darkness requires new puzzles to be solved and new obstacles to overcome. While Castlevania 64 consists of 10 stages, it would seem extremely cheap if Legacy had the same amount, with many of them just being rehashes. Put those concerns at ease, because Cornell's campaign is made up of 14 stages, with several new and refreshing maps such as the Outer Wall and the extremely disorienting Tower of Ruins. I actually had to draw a map to get through this stage. Yeah, a map. When was the last time I had to draw a map for a game? Sure, it looks janky as hell, but hey, I couldn't have made it through this stage without it. While many of the settings are the same as that of Castlevania 64, the stages are remixed enough to where it feels like completely different levels. While I do prefer some of the layouts and parts of the original stages versus the new ones, ultimately, the sacrifice of a halfway decent camera from the original annuls the sometimes less favorable layouts of the newer stages. It's really no contest. For me, gameplay will always supersede somewhat more desirable maps. Legacy of Darkness, while for the most part is almost a 100% improvement over its predecessor, for some reason decided to fix one of the few things that Castlevania 64 actually got right. In Castlevania 64, the lock-on feature will automatically home in on the nearest enemy, regardless of which direction you're facing. Not anymore. In Legacy, you have to be facing the enemy nearest to you in order to lock on. While this isn't that big of a deal, it does soil one of the few pearls that can be unearthed from a mountain of shit that makes up a majority of Castlevania 64. Growing up with a father whose favorite hobby was to fix things that weren't broken, I have a profound disdain for the if it ain't broke, fix it mentality. But hey, that's just me. One thing that Legacy did get right though is adding some new music tracks to the game, including a remixed version of one of my all-time favorite Castlevania tunes, The Sinking Old Sanctuary, which first appeared in Bloodlines. The bosses are also changed up from the original, with Cornell at one point confronting his longtime acquaintance and rival, Ortega. His boss battle replaces the encounter between Death and Reinhardt on top of the clock tower, with Ortega transforming into a bloodthirsty chimera. The clock tower is like 3 times the size of the original, with brand new obstacles to overcome. Thankfully, the save crystals in Legacy of Darkness are generously placed throughout the game, as opposed to Castlevania 64. Notch one more improvement for Legacy. Add another with the ability to now power up your sub-weapons up to 3 times stronger than when initially obtained. Now that's Castlevania. And seeing as Cornell is a man-beast, the ability to transform into a wolf using the L button can also be utilized here. Now, if I didn't have the instruction manual, I would have never known that this feature even existed, since nowhere in the game does it tell you that you can do this. Since it completely drains you of your crystals, which is the ammo for your sub-weapons, I never used it except for the final boss. While Konami should have figured out a better way to use what could have otherwise been a really cool additional gameplay mechanic, taking wolf form unfortunately is a big swing and a miss. But like I said, I may have never known about it to begin with, so it's not really a big deal at all. And that's Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, the game that Castlevania 64 should have been. If you're only going to play one of these games, Legacy of Darkness is definitely the way to go. Wait, where are you going? There's more. A shit ton more. After completing Legacy of Darkness with Cornell, you then unlock Henry, a child rescued earlier in Cornell's campaign. Henry returns as an adult, festooned with armor and packing heat. How awesome is it running through Wallachia blasting monsters back to hell with a 6-shooter? Pretty freaking sweet, let me tell ya. Henry is set on a quest to rescue 6 children hidden throughout as many stages, with a time limit of 7 days to complete. The children are cleverly hidden, and each youngling you save unlocks a new feature in the game, including Reinhardt and Carrie's campaigns. That's right, basically the entirety of Castlevania 64 is packed within Legacy of Darkness' tiny cart, with the original stages replaced with the remixed ones, of course. Reinhardt's quest throughout the Dark Caves is present here, now with a boss battle against a giant spider. Carrie's plight through the waterway is here as well, as is her climb up the Tower of Science. And some of our favorites return as well, such as...
Let's not start that shit again.
Castlevania Legacy of Darkness is what Castlevania 64 should have been. Konami scrapped Cornell and Henry from the original in order to shit out an unpolished product to appease ravenous fans and critics alike, who had been waiting patiently through delay after delay to get their hands on Castlevania's first foray into the 3D realm. In a practice that would become commonplace for Konami in the ensuing years, they screwed over their loyal fan base and unloaded a huge dump upon us, and then rectified that mess with the game that they had originally intended at full price. Come on, Konami! I would have loved to have seen Konami take full responsibility for this disaster by exchanging copies of Castlevania 64 for Legacy of Darkness, plus a small fee of course, to give the fans what they had truly deserved from the beginning. Of course, Dracula would have had a better chance with a Holiday in the Sun than that ever happening, but what the hell? I could use yet another reason to resent Konami wholeheartedly. Whatever. It's in the past now. But make no bones about it, if you only want to experience one Castlevania game on the Nintendo 64, make sure that it's Legacy of Darkness.
Castlevania Legacy of Darkness is a great game. Everything that was wrong with Castlevania 64 was pretty much fixed here. So this is definitely the way to go. If you avoided Legacy of Darkness like I did because you didn't want to go through another Castlevania 64, don't worry, this one is way better. Way better. So if you've played Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, what do you think of it? I highly recommend it. If you're a Castlevania fan, you haven't played it yet, take a look at this one. It's pretty good. So anyway, thanks a lot for checking out this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, I will catch you all later.